never be a memory.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. So, if you haven't heard, Tulsi Gabbard has dropped out. Now, I think it's been a day, maybe two, that this news has been announced. The news cycle has been changing so quickly every day that it's almost hard to keep up. It's not almost hard to keep up. It is hard to keep up. So literally, I'll work on a project, edit it, upload it. By the time that upload's done, there's something else. So look, I think the Tulsi Gabbard thing happened, if not yesterday, then the day before. And this is an interesting turn of events for me because Tulsi Gabbard has been someone that I've been a fan of. And not everybody has agreed with me on my choice on liking Tulsi Gabbard as a candidate. So everyone knows Andrew Yang was my number one. That's who I pretty much dedicated my channel to. Not too far after Andrew Yang was Bernie Sanders. And then after Bernie Sanders was Tulsi Gabbard. And then everyone else fell off the radar. At one point, Elizabeth Warren could have been a number 4, but she's done in Harlem. She's done. I want absolutely nothing to do with Elizabeth Warren. So those are my top 3. And I always got pushback with Sanders at times, and I've gotten pushback with Tulsi at times. But that's fine. I make my own decisions. I have my own reasons for supporting these people, just like you have your own reasons for supporting who you support. But what everyone's shocked about, what everyone is surprised about, is Tulsi Gabbard ended her campaign. And mind you, she stayed in longer than anybody. I mean, besides Biden and Sanders, she stayed in for the long haul. And nobody could really figure out why. Like, I don't know if she was waiting for something, crazy to happen to one of them. And, she'd be the incumbent. I don't know what she expected, but she entered her campaign, and what she did was she endorsed Handsy Uncle Joe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she endorsed Joe Biden. So she's gotten a lot of backlash. It's been actually, mixed reviews. So I'm just going to go in and just read you a little bit about what happened. So Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii has suspended her campaign for president. In a video posted to Twitter on Thursday, she said she said she was endorsing Joe Biden for president. It's clear that the Democratic primary voters have chosen Vice President Joe Biden to be the person who will take on President Trump in the general election. I'm confident that he will lead our country, guided by the spirit of aloha, respect, and compassion, and thus help heal the divisiveness that has been tearing our country apart. I actually have that video. We're going to play that video, and we're going to come back.
Our nation is facing an unprecedented global crisis that highlights the inextricable bonds of humanity and how foreign policy and domestic policy are inseparable. We are all in this together, and we must all rise to meet this moment in service to our country and our fellow man. This is not the first time that we have faced adversity together, and it will not be the last. After the terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda on our country on 9/11, we stood together as Americans, motivated to serve, marshaling our forces to defeat our common enemy. I and so many Americans all across this country enlisted in the military to do just that. Likewise, today, as Americans and all of humanity, we face a common enemy. It is once again time as Americans and as neighbors in this global community that we stand together once again and work hand in hand to defeat this new enemy, the coronavirus. Throughout my life and throughout this campaign, my motivation has been to serve God, our country, and the American people as best I can. I feel that the best way that I can be of service at this time is to continue to work for the health and well-being of the people of Hawaii and our country in Congress, and to stand ready to serve in uniform should the Hawaii National Guard be activated. Now, after Tuesday's election, it's clear that Democratic primary voters have chosen Vice President Joe Biden to be the person who will take on President Trump in the general election. I know Vice President Biden and his wife, and I'm grateful to have called his son, Beau, a friend who also served in the National Guard. Now, although I may not agree with the Vice President on every issue, I know that he has a good heart, and he's motivated by his love for our country and the American people. I'm confident that he will lead our country guided by the spirit of aloha, respect, and compassion, and thus help heal the divisiveness that has been tearing our country apart. So today, I'm suspending my presidential campaign and offering my full support to Vice President Joe Biden in his quest to bring our country together. I will continue to advocate for a 21st century foreign policy, one that's based on mutual respect and cooperation instead of confrontation, where we as a community of nations can work together to overcome the great challenges that our people face, preventing and stopping pandemics like the coronavirus that is now affecting all of us, tackling climate change, combating terrorism, removing the existential threat of nuclear war that hangs over the heads of all of us. I will continue to do everything that I can to help bring about an end to the new Cold War and nuclear arms race and end regime change wars, which are costing us trillions of dollars, so that we can invest these precious resources in the needs of the American people. Things like healthcare, rebuilding our infrastructure, education, and so much more. I want to extend my best wishes to my friends, Senator Bernie Sanders, his wife Jane, Nina Turner, and their many supporters for the work that they've done. I have such a great appreciation for Senator Sanders' love for our country and the American people, and his sincere desire to improve the lives of all Americans. To the many people all across our country who've dedicated their time and energy and resources to my campaign, working tirelessly to help get our message out, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to speaking to you more in the coming days about why I made this decision and how we can continue to work together for our common cause.
In her announcement on Thursday, so this was yesterday. At the time of this recording, this was yesterday. In her announcement on Thursday, she noted she would continue to serve in the military. The best way that I can be of service at this time is to continue to work for the health and well-being of the people of Hawaii and our country in Congress, and to stand and serve in uniform should the Hawaii National Guard be activated. Gabbard, she had last qualified for a Democratic debate in November. Her meeting with the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad and past anti-LGBT beliefs faced scrutiny from both her Democratic rivals and debate moderators. Gabbard ran an unconventional campaign in which she employed fewer than a dozen full-time staffers, relied largely on unpaid volunteer network, and invested heavily in billboard advertising. So these are some of the reasons that people are a little shocked when I supported Tulsi Gabbard. So supposedly Tulsi was anti-LGBT, and I've spoken to many people about that, and they said that she supported just horrific things being done to gays and transgender people. I haven't found any solid evidence or proof of that. It seems like smears. But if anybody does have any solid evidence or proof of that, send me a link. Make sure it's bipartisan, and I will check that out. But from what I've seen, it all seems like smears. And as far as her meeting with dictators, so fucking what? So what? We're cool with Saudi Arabia. I don't want to hear anything about meeting with dictators. We're literally cool with Saudi Arabia. We're literally cool with them killing our journalists. I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. We've literally had war criminals in the White House. I don't care if she met with a dictator. Get out of here with that bullshit. So, and she met with a dictator for peace. Like, it's ridiculous. Anybody that tries to use she met with a dictator as an excuse, then you're a fucking shill, and I can see that you're not a serious person. Literally, war criminals in the White House. We're bombing 8 different countries. Please. We got rid of the Iran dip. Please. After Hillary Clinton suggested Gabbard was a Russian asset in a podcast interview, Gabbard filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against the former Secretary of State. I'm not a Clinton fan. And she needs to disappear from the headlines. Like, I'm tired of seeing anything to do with Hillary Clinton. She's horrible. She is the best politician of our lifetime, which makes her incredibly horrible. It should have been for $50 billion, she told NBC News. This is who I am, and so it directly dismisses the value, the honor, and the loyalty of our sacrifices, not only for me, but for any service member in this country. It can't go unchecked. So Gabbard knew she's not going to win. She knows she's not going to win, but it's the principle of the matter. What I found very interesting with the Tulsi Gabbard in this campaign, what I found very interesting is the news and the media and the normies on Facebook and social media, like the John Everybody's and the Susan Know Nothings, that do a lot of virtue signaling and post a lot of PC shit. I'm very surprised they didn't support Tulsi Gabbard. Because look, Tulsi's a woman, and there's a large group of people that only care about that. They only care about the gender of the candidate. He saw a lot of Elizabeth Warren supporters in that area. She was a woman, and she's a woman of color, and she served and serves in the military. She had all 3 check marks. By all means, on paper, she should have been dominating. Like, if you really look at it on paper and look at what the Johnny Know Nothings and the Susan Everybody's look at, Tulsi Gabbard should have been dominating. Should have been dominating. But there was another woman in the race, and Tulsi Gabbard literally took a hatchet to her head. And since they got rid of that media darling, Kamala Harris, they hated her. They just hated her. The fact that she spoke on the regime change wars, they hated her. And there's literally been a smear campaign about her being a Russian asset. But as soon as she dropped out and endorsed Joe Biden, I saw people crawl from the woodworks like, Tulsi, come here, Tulsi. Come here, girl. Yes, girl, yes. You know what? We were wrong about you, Tulsi. Come here. Let me put my arm around you. We were wrong about you. You are a team player. You're a trooper. You know what's up. You know what's up. You fell in line. You fell in line. Good job, Tulsi. Miss Gabbard, you might have a future in this political business. Like, people all out of the woodwork who were at one point turning their nose up at Tulsi were suddenly fucking with Tulsi because she came out and endorsed Joe Biden. And, a lot of people were mad saying that she didn't endorse Sanders because policy-wise, she's closer to a Sanders. But she did say she would back the Democratic nominee. And so, similar to Andrew Yang, that's what she's doing. Look, when Andrew Yang said he's backing Joe Biden, did you see his face? He didn't want to. He didn't want to. It bothered him. It hurt him inside to endorse Joe Biden. Regardless of what the Yang Gang feels about Sanders or Sanders supporters, the Andrew Yang you come to know and love was inspired by Bernie Sanders. Full stop. You don't have to like it. It's just the truth. And for him to have to endorse Joe Biden, it really fucking hurt him. Like, you can see it on his face. You can see it in his tweets. I saw tweets where people were saying, yo, is Andrew Yang okay? Like, is he okay? Because he really didn't want to endorse Joe Biden, but he's a man of his word, and he did what he said he was going to do. Endorsed the Democratic nominee, and Tulsi said she was not going to run third party, and she was going to endorse the Democratic nominee. And lo and behold, Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee. It's near impossible for Sanders to win it at this point. It's done. You're done, son. It's a wrap. It's sad, and I actually feel incredibly sad for Bernie Sanders. But Joe Biden is the nominee. And so she did what she said she was going to do. So how do I feel about Tulsi Gabbard? How do I feel about her endorsement? I'm not mad at her. She said she did what she was going to do. And I know she thinks Trump is an existential threat to, America. So she's going to do whatever she can do to, try to dethrone him. Same with Andrew Yang. And I don't think Sanders, takes it to heart. Which brings me to Elizabeth Warren, who hasn't endorsed anybody. And the people on The View actually got on Elizabeth Warren about her non-endorsement. Take a look.
Senator Warren, we just learned that Tulsi Gabbard has suspended her campaign and has endorsed Joe Biden. And at this point, you are the only prominent candidate who has dropped out that hasn't endorsed either Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden. Why haven't you announced an endorsement yet?
So actually, I've been focused on this crisis. I think Bernie needs space to decide what he wants to do next, and he should be given the space to do that. Right now, I'm focused on what we're going to do next in this crisis around the coronavirus.
So let's just break down why Elizabeth Warren hasn't endorsed anybody. She's shown her true colors. Elizabeth Warren won't endorse anybody because at the end of the day, she does not agree with Biden. She's not a Biden fan. And if you see her endorse Biden, it's going to be like after Sanders drops out, she's going to endorse Joe Biden in an effort to defeat Donald Trump. But as it stands right now, she's not a Biden fan. She knows she doesn't agree with Joe Biden. She knows more so she agrees with Bernie Sanders. They're just bad blood. She's in her fucking feelings. She's in her feelings. She's really bothered by the snake emojis. She's bothered Bernie Sanders wouldn't admit that he supposedly said that a woman couldn't be president, even though he asked her to run. Like, there's still bad blood between them. And maybe one day she'll get over it. But as of right now, she can't bring herself to do it. So she hasn't endorsed Biden, and she hasn't endorsed Sanders and the snake emoji followers that he has, because I thought she was an adult and she knew about this thing called the internet and trolling, but apparently not. So, Warren has shown her true colors. And, I'm not a Warren fan. I'm not mad at Tulsi. I'm not mad at Yang. It was a shock to a lot of the Yang gang. And it caused, a bit of a split. It caused some divisiveness when he came out for Biden. But he just did what he said he was going to do. So yeah, I just figured I'd cover that because Tulsi's always been my number 3. And I know Yang gang was pretty cool with Tulsi Gabbard. For majority of Yang's campaign, what I saw was Yang Gabbard ticket. I've seen that so many times. And that actually made sense. It made much more sense than the Biden Yang and the Bloomberg Yang tickets people were proposing when we were willing to prostitute ourselves to these atrocious characters just because we wanted Yang to be further into the White House. The Yang Tulsi ticket actually made sense. It actually made sense. But look, man, now you got, Trump. People are saying Trump's aboard the Yang gang. Like, it's almost like I posted a picture. I don't know if you've seen it. It's almost like Trump is trying to do a fusion with Andrew Yang. Like, they put on the Patara earrings and came up with this. I mean, that's just incredibly funny. It's looking like people are going to get a check in the mail, $1,000 check in the mail. But look, you know who hasn't been on board with this thing? And I just want to mention it in this video before I forget. Nancy Pelosi. Is it Chuck Schumer? I'm pretty sure it's Chuck Schumer. Nancy Pelosi has not been on board with people getting a universal basic income check. So Eric Quach commented on this. It was breaking and trending, and it was hashtag people versus Pelosi for a while. And it was saying that Speaker Pelosi shot down a proposal for giving Americans direct financial relief because it would be universal and not means tested. This is outrageous. We must stand for UBI and make it happen now. I don't want to hear that means tested shit. This is not the time to means test shit, right? And then Shahid Buttar for Congress commented, sadly, Pelosi stands with the past and impugns our future. Our People versus Pelosi campaign will capture Congress on a not me, us platform, emphasizing Medicare for all, Green New Deal, ending mass incarceration and mass surveillance, a right to housing, and a UBI vision. He says Bernie's UBI vision, but what the fuck are you talking about? Bernie UBI, they don't even go in the same sentence. So I think this might have changed. This happened on the 18th. Today's the 20th. I think this might have changed. I know they've passed 2 bills so far. Both were shoddy. One was even worse, but they're slowly getting better. They're working on a 3rd bill as we speak. But some of the things they're trying to work on is paid leave, because the paid leave that they had only helped 20% of Americans out. So what the fuck? Paid leave, a halt on rent, a halt on mortgage payments, a halt on utilities. So these are things that they're working on, and if they, they've been trying to pass them through. But her, being against UBI because it wasn't means tested, kind of outrageous. And now they have different levels. They were saying, okay, $75,000 and under. And then they said, okay, $90,000 and under. Okay, $150,000 and under. Just give it to fucking everybody. Just give it to everybody. I know it may seem like, oh, if this dude makes $90K, like he's fucking good. But that's not the case, because those people that made $90K could have been laid off. And they could have had their money tied up in other things. You don't know what people are going through. It seems with UBI, what people miss most about Yang's vision is the ability to give it to everyone. They keep trying to only give it to like a minute group of people. One of the best things about UBI is that everyone got it. Okay? So hopefully, we'll see that 3rd bill pass. Within 2 weeks, people will get their $1,000 checks. I know one of the thing was $500 for every kid in the family too. They were trying to propose. I don't know if that went through or not. But the ball is rolling, just not fast enough. But the ball is rolling. Pelosi, come around. Let's do better. Let's get this shit done. Be on board with UBI. Now is not the time to push against UBI. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Today's day 3 of, my work establishment being shut down, and then my money being drastically affected. So, I'm going through literally what everyone else is going through. I'm literally in the belly of the beast with everybody. So I can relate. Okay. For everybody that can still work and, is out there, in the trenches, please stay safe. Stay safe. I know a lot of people think they're immune, and that, this thing can't affect them and it can't hurt them. I don't want to see anybody in the hospital. Okay. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Now more than ever, all your donations are appreciated. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying.